remember you love the word hormesis, and you do eat carbs. You do enjoy your life. You think a proper amount of small, possibly even stressors for the body could be beneficial long term.
I do. Again, the premise of hormesis, I always like to start with a premise or a principle that is accurate and then whittle down from that deductively. So when you the hormesis means that if you apply a stress to a living biological system like ourselves, if we adapt to that stress, we get stronger. If we don't adapt, we get weaker, and then it can lead to disease and other problems. The best example of this is exercise. And I kind of already made the point, but exercise, if you do too much, actually works against you. If you do too little, if you don't stress enough, you might not get the benefit. So it's stressing the body, changing the diet. So how do you make sure that the exercise, I said diet, I meant exercise. How do we make sure the exercise is still working as a stress? If you go into the gym and do the same exercise all the time, in the beginning, the body acts like it's a stress and adapts and gets stronger. But eventually, it's not a stress anymore, and it doesn't get stronger, and you're just wasting your time. And according to studies, you actually have a diminishing return on your results, meaning you're better off not exercising. Literally, hard to believe, but it's true. Cold baths, same thing, right? Too much stress, you don't adapt, very negative. Saunas, same way, very negative if you do too much and you don't adapt. The right amount and your body adapts. How do you know? How do you feel the next day? Do you have more energy? How do you feel later that day? How did you sleep that night? Right? So there's ways of knowing if you applied too much stress and didn't adapt. So again, we have to apply this to every area of our life. And diet is one of them. We know that every time we change diet, our microbiome, our gut bacteria, they get stressed and create diversity. It's good. I mentioned that people are running from these plant toxins like lectins, oxalate, histamines, nightshades. These are plant toxins, yes, but they act hormetically. They act as little stressors in our gut microbiome that if you adapt, that's the question, that's hormesis. If you adapt, you actually get better. Your gut microbiome gets more diverse, which means your immune system's better, your brain's better. But if you don't adapt because of all the chemicals that we're getting hit with today, then guess what? Then your microbiome gets worse, not better. And that's what we're seeing today. That's why people can't take in oxalates. That's why they can't eat lectins. So now what have we done, Joy? We've made the problem lectins and oxalates and nightshades like, oh, these things are bad. They're not bad. The problem is the gut, right? It's the chemicals upstream that are destroying our gut, keeping us from adapting to something that would make us better, stronger, not weaker. So everything is adaptation. If you adapt, you get better. And by the way, how does the body adapt to stressors? Hormone optimization. If you sit in a cold bath and come out, something called norepinephrine goes up. It's trying to save your life, okay? And then what happens is growth hormone goes up. Your cells become hormonally very sensitive. So all these positive hormonal changes take place to adapt. If you don't adapt, the exact opposite happens. You get a plummet in growth hormone. You get a plummet, get an increase in inflammation. Your cells become more resistant to your hormones because you spent too much time in the cold bath. You see, so look at your lives, and are you applying this premise of hormesis correctly to your diet, to your exercise, to your emotional stress, right? I mean, it applies to everything, to your detox, everything.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, it's all about balance, coming back to the Taoist principle, the middle road.
But you know what I hate about that, though, is because your middle road's different than mine, right?
Uh-huh.
And hers is different than his, and his is different than his. Yeah, so it's like you have to become really good at listening to your body, which as humans, we don't do that very well.